Alright, Shalom. I'm the brother Tasiyat coming back with another video. But before I start off, I would like to give all praises and the highest honor to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kakodash. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles and teachers of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the sincere Akiam across this world, who are spreading this knowledge in truth and in sincerity. Alright, also Shalom to the few sincere brothers and sisters out there who are listening, and may the election be upon your households. God Shalom. So today, I want to make a quick video, concerning that sometimes before you make a decision, it's good to first ask for advice. Okay, first ask before you're trying to make a certain decision. Okay, sometimes you are feeling like doing something, when you are all worked up in your emotion, but if you really sit and think about it, and think about what you're actually about to do, it might not be the best decision, man. So it's always good to ask advice before you handle. With that being said, when you look at example to when you take example for so like when you take the scriptures for an example, it says also before you do something, seek counsel. All right, because when you have counsel, you can have a talk about certain situations or things that you are going through, and now you hear advice of somebody else, which advice, add vision. So somebody else is adding their vision onto you to make you make a better decision, so to speak. Okay, so I'm looking here for my not for my, but for a scripture. I believe it's in the book of Proverbs. So let me see here real quick. It is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 18. It says, every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. So every purpose is established by counsel. Okay, don't try to make hasty decisions all the time without asking your brothers, the people that are in this truth with you, for advice. Okay, they are in this truth for a reason, so there is something special about them. They have a certain eye to analyze the situation. Sometimes you might be in a situation and you might have a tunnel vision, and you cannot see clearly what decision to make, and then you ask a brother for his advice, and then he brings something eye-opening, and now you be like, wow, I cannot believe I did not see it like that. You see? So for example, with a job, man, you might be struggling with your job, you might be going through some hard times with your job, and you're literally on the spot of saying like, hey, fuck it, man, and quitting the job. And then you say to the brother like, hey, man, I'm really thinking about quitting this fucking job, man. It's not worth it, this and that. And then he might counter it like, okay, so you have to see it money-wise. Do you have your own house? Yes. Do you have to pay your bills? Yes. Do you have a car? Yes, you do. Do you maybe have other expenses you have to pay? Yes. Okay. So what is something that is basic in life, to have a roof over your head, to have water, to have clothing? Are you going to be able to buy those things if you have no job? No. Did you find a new job yet? Did you apply for new jobs? No, not yet. So if you sum up all these things, why the hell would you now randomly quit your job? So when this brother gives you advice, then you start thinking, calming down a bit, and be like, yeah, man, he's right. In the future, you might, still quit this job because you don't, it doesn't suit you. But still, before you make that decision, try to be wise with it and be like, before I do that, let me try to find something else first. Let me make sure that when I quit this job, that I'm not gonna be in trouble for months, money-wise or whatnot, in debt, because if you have no job, now you have to ask brothers or other people around you for money. Now you gotta pay them that money back, plus you don't have no job. So now you're in debt, plus you have no job, so you have all this extra stress. Was it really worth it compared to the stress that you had on with a job you had in the first place. So try to be a bit more wise with those decisions, man. Me also, like, I've worked and I actually, yeah, I hate doing it, you know. I hate doing it. Going out there, I work as a physiotherapist, but I also work at soccer clubs. And me myself, I used to play soccer, but I used to go out there on the pitch to play the game myself. But now I'm a physiotherapist. So when something happens during the match, I have to go in the game, you know, treat the player and then go out the game. But the whole process of going into the match, you know, treating the player, you know, when somebody is getting injured, I have to wait on the signal of the referee. But sometimes the player is screaming out of pain. Then I'm like, okay, should I go? Should I wait for the referee or should I just go into the field? You know, the coaches be telling you things. You know, people be telling you things around. The audience be screaming things at you. So sometimes you're like, hey man, fuck this, man. I don't feel like doing this. You know, it's cold outside. Now I gotta be sitting there 2 times 45 minutes in the cold. Okay, but do I get paid? Yes, I get paid. You know, is it helpful with my things that I have to pay? Yes, it is. You know, is it helpful for me to have uh, more clients on my work? You know, like if some players get injured, they come to my not my but the physio practice where I work. So it's also a base of building clients. You know, getting clients to your workspace. So that those are all the benefits. But still, I already, you know, in my mind be thinking like, hey, I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue with this. You know, I've been doing this for a few years now, 5 years if I'm correct. So I gotta see what is what, man. So this also like made me think of making a plan to maybe expand and do something a bit different to now fill in the gap that will occur when I quit this specific job, for example. So I try to think about the future. Try to think, you know, try to be thinking ahead before I make these hasty decisions. Okay, like with another previous job, hey, I'm telling you, man, I was totally done with that one. That was just not it, man. But the money I got from it, it was crazy, you know. Like with a few hours work, I got a lot of money, but those few hours was so much stress, you know. Plus at home I also had to do some things, administration, that eventually I was like, hey, fuck this, man. Even though it pays good, sometimes you be like, hey, I don't care what the paycheck is, man. I'm not gonna be doing this for long anymore, because there's also something called, you know, your mental health. You know, you're gonna be stressed all day, angry all day, feeling some type of way. You know, now you already have this going on. You know, but we are in the truth, so of course demons are gonna mess you up also. So it's just sometimes it's just a lot, man. Okay, considering the work, for example, you might also be in a certain situation where these things are just too much for you, but try to breathe. You know, breathe in, breathe out, take a 10-second break, you know, before you make a hasty decision, and consider the consequences of your things. And it says here, and with good advice, make war. Okay, you advise. If you have watched certain movies from back in the days, before a king goes out to war, he also has a council. He has a particular men that are close to him to have a discussion like, hey, what do you think about this plan? You know, should we move forward or should we just wait and give up? Should we go, you know, with two parties of 200 men each side and make an ambush, or should we do this? A king, before he goes to war, like in the movie that is named The King, also has a counsel and asks for advice before he does something. You know why? Because he has the weight of his whole kingdom upon his shoulders. So he cannot make just random decisions out of thin air without considering the consequences. So should we be in this truth, man. Okay, you cannot just make random. You should try not to make random decisions, you know, out of emotion. Okay, so with that being said, what is also important is to trust in the Most High and don't lean upon your own so-called understanding. Like it says here, Proverbs 3 verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Okay? So the Most High will show you what you have to do as long as you build on him and trust on him. Sometimes you might pray, and you might, you put your trust in him and you pray to help you in a situation, and that prayer might be answered by a brother coming up to you and asking like, hey, how you doing, man? How's your job? Or how's your wife doing? Or how are your children doing? Hey, how is this? Hey, you had a new car, right? How is it going with the car? You name it, man. The Most High can just put a spirit on somebody to get to talking with you, and before you know it, you're basically talking about the situation you're going through and getting the advice you need to make the right decision. Eventually you as an individual are the only one that can make that decision for yourself, but it's always good to have somebody's advice. Try not to ask everybody, okay? Because I saw some quote on Instagram like, if you want to make the wrong decision, ask everybody. If you ask too much people, now you're gonna be bugged out in your mind. Now you're gonna be like, hey man, now I'm even more stressed out concerning what I had to do. So don't ask the whole world about your problem, or don't tell everybody about your business also. But if you have people close to you, who might been going through similar situations, or might have given you advice with previous things, try to explain the situation you're going through as clear as possible to them, so they can also give you the best advice concerning your situation. If you tell something half, they might give you advice which was not the best advice, compared to when you would have explained the situation better to them. So of course you're gonna have situations that you don't want to tell them everything specifically, but give them a good indication so they can also, with that indication, give you the best possible advice to the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Lord willing, of course. Okay, so it says here in the NLT on the right side, Proverbs 3 and 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, which the word heart is not literally your heart, because your heart is just a muscle which pumps blood. But the word heart goes in the Hebrew la'ab, which means, here in the outline of biblical usage, it says inner man, mind, will, heart, understanding. Okay? So your mind. So going back, it says, seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. Instead, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Okay, so let me see. Let me go back here. Back to the scripture, Proverbs 20 verse 18, to the word counsel. It says here, counsel, advise, purpose. Okay, it says here in the Strong's definitions, advise, by implication, plan. Okay, you have to plan things out. Also prudence, you be busy with your future, thinking about consequences. Advice, advisement, counselor, purpose. Okay, so there's a lot of more scriptures concerning the subject. I just wanted to speak on the situation. Lord willing, I'll make another video which goes more in depth concerning counsel, because it is very important. But yeah, Yahweh Tasa, which means Lord willing, this video was edifying for the ones that had to watch this. And for me personally also, I had something going on, but now that I made this video, I'm calmed down a bit. So without further ado, I want to give all praises and the highest honor to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles and teachers of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the sincere Akiam across this world, who are spreading this knowledge and truth and sincerity. And shalom to the few sincere brothers and sisters out there who are also listening, and may the election be upon your households. Shalom.